Welcome everyone. Welcome. You are here because Champion was just the beginning. Innovator proved you could build. But today we are talking about legend, the top tier, the people who don't just build agent force, they design the strategy, mentor the team, and make enterprise scale AI actually work. I am Misbah, Salesforce Community Group Leader here in Dubai, a proud co-organizer of Dubai Dreaming, one of the most exciting community-led Salesforce event in the MENA region. If you have been to Dubai Dreaming, you already know the vibe. If you haven't, add it to your calendar. You are welcome in advance. And joining with me as co-host and co-organizer of this entire program is Mahan, a fellow Salesforce Community Group Leader, a co-organizer of Dubai Dreaming. Between the two of us, we live and breathe this community, and this training is a direct extension of what mission, making world-class Salesforce learning accessible to everyone. And before we go any further, a very important announcement. All certification vouchers for this program are generously sponsored by the Salesforce Global Workforce Development Team. That means you have a real tangible path from watching this video, completing the trails, and then getting certified. So don't just watch, finish the trail and the badges, and then probably get the certification voucher. Now let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
The trail kicks off with something that signals Salesforce is serious about this, the certification preparation, right at the start. So it has one module. If you click on it, it will take you to the Trailhead Academy page about the certification exam. And once you click on the Get Exam Guide, it opens up the exam information. The Agentforce Specialist certification is Salesforce dedicated credentials for professionals who build and manage autonomous AI agents on the Salesforce platform. It's not typical admin or developer certification that covers broader platform feature. This one is laser focused on agent lifecycle, design, configuration, grounding, testing, deployment, and governance. It validates that you understand how agent reason and make decisions using topics and action. The first exam outline, the first topic is actually about that, which covers the 35% exam that given in a use case, managed deterministic behavior of agent using filters and variables. So this topic is specifically if there are some specific filters, how you can filter the actions based on that. For example, if it is some actions are only related to allowed to be executed for tier 1 customers, so that is all about those. Then how agent works and how reasoning engine powers Agentforce, and then based on given a scenario, configure the standard topics, custom topics, standard agent actions. So for example, all case related standard actions, how you can configure, knowledge based or sale based standard actions, how you can configure, how to manage Agentforce security. So it is all about how you can verify somebody before taking any action. Then given in a scenario, when to use employee agent, service agent, or sales agent. And then it covers about how you can connect your agent through various channels like digital experience, email, or Slack. Then the second section is, which covers around 20%, is all about prompts. So various type of prompts, when to use which kind of prompt, how to enhance it, how to automatically execute it, which specific role is allowed to modify prompt, and based on the scenario, which appropriate grounding technique you should use. Then the third section is about data cloud. This exam does not cover data cloud extensively, but you need to be aware of the section which are relevant to Agentforce. For example, the Agentforce data library. Yes, it is stored on data cloud, but how you can use it, how you can load data into it, these kind of scenarios. Then improve the agent's response with unstructured data using chunking and indexing. For example, how you can link various type of data and then chunking and indexing onto that, specifically like PDF files and unstructured data, and then identify the considerations for retrievers in data cloud, such as individual and ensembles. Given a scenario, identify the consideration for search type, keyword, vector, or hybrid. So it will have some specific scenarios like when to use a keyword search, when to use a vector search, or when to use both in that specific scenario. Then it covers around 20% for the development lifecycle. It's all about how you need to deploy your Agentforce from sandbox to production, or how you can test your agents. And then the third section, it covers about how you can monitor your agent adoption, and even how you can monitor your agent's performance. Then it has something related to multi-agent interoperability, like if you have agent-to-agent communication, how you can do it. So how you can use MCPs, how you can use agent API, where exactly you should use API. So that's all about it. See, as a legend, you don't need to cram everything. Welcome to the heart of Legend Trails. 7 badges, 2 super badges, and more than 7 hours of content. This is where you earn the right to call yourself a legend. Section 2 is built around the 3 customization pillars: prompts, flows, and apex. Let's go badge by badge. So the first badge is agent customization quick look. Think about this as an orientation module before the deep dives. Quick look badges on the trailhead are conceptual overviews, no hands-on required, just the ideas. This badge setups the 3-layer customization model you will spend the rest of section 2 implementing. Layer 1, prompts, tell the agents how to think and what to say. Prompt template is a structured set of instruction, context, and grounding data that shapes the agent's reasoning and response style. And layer 2, flows, tells the agent what to do. And layer 3, apex, tells the agent what to do when flow isn't enough. Custom apex classes decorated with invocable methods. So like that. So together these 3 layers gives you the complete control. Like user provides some message, then agent builder topics classify the intents, then topics triggers an action. Now this action could be from prompt template, or a flow, or an apex. And then based on that, agent responses to the user. Now the second badge is about customizing service agent customization with prompt builder. This is the first full hands-on badge in this section, and it uses Coral Cloud resorts, the fictional luxury resorts you will see throughout the entire trail. Get comfortable with that Coral Cloud. It's everywhere in the Legend Trail. So in this scenario, the Sophia and her family booked the white water rafting rush experience at Coral Cloud. It was unexpectedly cancelled, and she is frustrated, and she reaches out to the customer support. So it's all about that. So for example, you will go through that, and then based on that, you will provide some suggestions. You will configure some prompt templates. Okay. So in the unit 1, you will just build one prompt template. Then in unit 2, you will actually connect those templates with some user actions, agent actions. Unit 3, this is where you actually add some more accuracy into your agents. Badge 3, this badge zooms out from the Salesforce specific prompting to universal prompt engineering skills. The kind of that makes you better at working with any AI system, not just Agentforce. So there are 7 prompts engineering techniques covered in this batch. Let me walk you through each one. So first one is zero-shot prompts. So direct instruction with no example. Works great for creative, open-ended tasks like summarize this meeting transcript. And then, but there is some limitation. It is too vague for structure or domain-specific tasks. Second thing is few short prompts. So like you give AI 2 to 3 example of what you want, and it learns the pattern and follows it. For example, you provide some example of something like how you want an image to be generated, and then the prompt will take care of it. Then number 3 is chain of thoughts prompts. So guide the AI to think out loud step by step before answering, like essential for multi-step logic like lead qualification, case routing, or forecasting. Then the fourth one becomes the role-based prompting. So where you assign a specific persona to the AI before performing any task. For example, act like a Salesforce account executive, and then you are performing some tasks. Then number 5 is conversational prompts, like shape the AI's behavior through back and forth exchange, mimicking how a real human would interact, like Slack bots, guided onboarding flows, and coaching assistants. And then number 6 is counterfactual prompts. So here you will ask AI to reason through what would have happened differently. So incredible, these kind of things are good for deal analysis, retrospective, and coaching. For example, you ask, this deal was lost and what could have changed. So then actually you can ask it, the AI, to explain the counterfactual scenario. And the number 7 is creative prompts. Let the AI into its generative strength for brainstorming, naming, copywriting, or campaign ideations. See, from prompts in business context have a life cycle like software. So first you start with you develop a design, a prompt based on the business needs, then you test it, then you monitor, and then you keep on iterating. So there are 3 best practices from this batch that every legend should internalize. So first thing is divide use cases into tasks. So break complex operations into smaller, more precise sub-prompts, which are easier to improve and easier to debug. Then second thing is define your input. So LLMs are context machines. The more relevant context you provide, tone examples, format examples, domain-specific data, the better the output is. And then the third one is depend on what works. Build a prompt library. When you find a pattern that works, document it and reuse it. Don't reinvent the wheel on every project. We have prompt and enter automation territory. This badge is where you learn one of the most important architectural concepts in all Agentforce, building flows that agents can actually use. Let me repeat it because it will reshape how you think about automation. An AI agent cannot click a button. An AI agent cannot interact with a screen flow. An agent receives a structured text input and produce structured text output. This is the entire interaction model. This means every flow you want an agent to call must be an auto-launched flow. No screens, no user interaction, just data in and data out. So this badges teaches you how to refactor the existing screen flows into agent-compatible auto-launched. This is the real-world skill. In almost every Salesforce org, there are existing screen flows built for human. Where you adopt Agentforce, you often need to modernize these flows. So this transformation involves like removing all screen elements, replace with the decision assignment logic, replace user decision points with agent inputs. So like agent collects the data from the user in conversation, then passes it to the flow as variable. Then third one is add fault path. So when something goes wrong, the flow must tell the agent gracefully, not that crashes silently. Then return the meaningful output variable. The agent needs something useful to tell the users. So when you register a flow as an agent action in Agentforce assets, you configure each variable's behavior. That's the detail that separates a good agent action from a frustrating one. So you specify whether variable requires input, shows in conversation, filter from agent action. So get these wrong and your agent will either over interrogate the user asking the data it doesn't need, or silently fails using the wrong variable. Okay, so the batch 5 is deploy agent authentication. This batch tackles one of the most important and often overlooked aspect of enterprise Agentforce deployments. For example, authentication for topics and actions. So, and then how you can add filter to that. So first you will provide authentication. So mechanism to your topics and actions. There are ready-made authentication verification through email or SMS. So once you verify your user, then how you can actually add a filter. So without authentication, those actions are never executed. And then how you can test that specific information with and without authentication. Okay, and then here it comes the super badge, advanced flow for Agentforce. Okay, reminder of the rules: no step-by-step instruction. You receive business requirement, you build, the automated checker verifies your org configurations against specific technical criteria. If it passes, you earn the super badge. If not, you fix and try again. This super badge particularly covers everything in the flows and prompt content above, but assessed, not tutored. So here is, you can go through the requirement, sign up for a specific org, and then you can start building your agents. So it has, I think, Then the next badge is about agent customization with Apex. So it is pure developer mode. This badge is where mostly Apex skills are required, specifically for Agentforce platform. So let me give you a brief about it. So flows are powerful, but it cannot perform everything. You should use Apex, but exactly when? So first, if logic is too complex for declarative tools, you should use Apex. You need to use HTTP callouts. Yeah, some people will argue here, yes, we can also do it through flows, but depends on the volume. If it is one call or two calls, you cannot debug it. It will crash the flow and you will not be able to even see any output unless you have crafted it carefully. Then the number 3, which is another reason to use Apex, that you need to process large volume of records. Then again, another reason to use Apex is you need to fine-grain exception handling. Yes. And then there is big reason. You have an existing Apex logic. You cannot rewrite it. So you need to expose it to Agentforce. So how you can do that? That's exactly where this badge comes into handy. And so this badge is actually provide you details about how you can write an Apex with an invocable method. Then after that, how you can set up those methods as within Agentforce assets and create actions related to Apex. Then one of the most important thing many people miss is that you need to grant permission to Einstein user. That specific Agentforce user, whichever you will use for your agent, you need to provide access to that specific Apex class. Without that, it will not work. Okay. And then after that, you will have a super badge for Apex, and that is super badge number 2 in this module. Same rule as before. We will not provide you any step-by-step guide. So this one is specifically for developers. So within the flow super badge, you learned more about how you can configure flows, and it is for admin. And then this specific one is pro code for Apex development. And it covered the same way you need to sign up for actual org, and then you need to connect that org, and you need to go through the instruction what exactly you need to do.
I agree, that was too much.
Section 2 taught you how to customize. Section 3 teaches you how to make your agent smart by connecting it to real data. This section is about grounding, the practice of anchoring your agent's response into authoritative live information. So let's jump into it. So the first badge is about grounding an agent with data. This is the conceptual foundation badge before you implement grounding. You need to understand why it matters and what grounding actually is. Just to give you an information about hallucination problem. So without grounding, an LLM generates responses based on purely what it was learned during training. The training data is now from a specific cutoff date, like it does not know what happened after that specific date. It is too generic. It does not know anything about your Salesforce sales data, or it is probabilistic. It generates plausible sounding tests, which can be wrong. So grounding solves all three of these problems by injecting real live data into the prompt before the LLM generates the response. So Salesforce supports two types of grounding, structured or unstructured. So structured could be like CRM field, related records or objects, or unstructured could be like your knowledge articles, PDF, documentation, anything which can be. So this badge actually gives you something how you can design your grounding strategy, not just pick up random fields. So a good strategy could be like a purposeful, like only include the context relevant to the current inquiry, provide real information response, and respect the security of the system and the user, and make it efficient. Like you provide minimum only the necessary context to avoid overwhelming the LLM with unnecessary data. The second badge is about retrieval augmented generation. It is again a quick look badge, conceptual overview of RAG, this technique mechanism behind grounding, how actually the grounding works. So just to give you a brief about RAG, it has 3 steps. Retrieve, so before generating a response, fetch relevant information from the Salesforce org or knowledge base. Augment, add the retrieved data to the prompt as additional context. And generate. So then once LLM generates a response, ground it with the real data. So there are 2 ways to make LLM know your business information. Fine tune it, expensive, slow, requires massive data, like you keep training it, or use RAG. So you just provide it as a context, and it will perform the necessary action. So Salesforce Agentforce uses RAG. So the third, it's not a badge, it's a link. So you can go and read it. Provide the practitioner's guide about how to use it in a proper way. And the last badge, the Agentforce Data Library Basics. This badge introduces one of the most important features in the 2025-26 Agentforce platform, the data libraries. So just to give you a brief, an Agentforce data library is a curated collection of unstructured content, like knowledge articles, PDF documentation, that has been indexed for semantic search by Agentforce. So when you add content to the data library, Salesforce creates vector embedding, a mathematical representation of the meaning of the content that enables semantic search, finding content that is conceptually relevant even when the exact keyword doesn't match. So there is something I need to provide information about semantic search or keyword search. So keyword search is, let's say customer says my snorkeling gear was broken. So it will search article based on the exact word. So for example, if there is a spelling is wrong, it might not find anything. For example, snorkeling gear, if it does not specify there is anything related to that. So usually medical terms, legal terms, these they use specific keyword search. Then there is another type, semantic search. So customer says again my snorkeling gear was broken. So it understands the concept that something is broken, and this broken is related to some specific equipment. So for example, handling equipment, valve function, these kind of things. So that's where semantic search is used. So the section 3 was about grounding. So now the section 4 is all about enterprise data platform that empowers the most sophisticated grounding strategies, Data 360. So the first badge in this one is Data 360 powered experience. This badge introduces Data 360 from a business outcomes perspective, not a technical product, but as a experience enabler. So it was formerly called Data Cloud, but just to give you a context, it unifies customer data from every source. So CRM, marketing, automation, commerce, support, web, third-party tools into a single unified customer profile. It answers the question, what if every part of the business know everything we know about every customer? So one customer, you can know exactly where this data is coming from. So from Agentforce perspective, your agent knows your customer's complete history, their purchases, support tickets, website behavior, loyalty status, predicting churn risk, and all unified into one real-time profile. Then the second badge is Data 360 powered Agentforce. So this badge gets technical about how Data 360 and Agentforce connects. So there is little vocabulary which you should be aware of. So first thing is data model objects, the unified schema of customer data in Data 360, data streams. So similar to like water streams, it's a pipeline that connects external data with Data 360 and brings that data into Data 360 platform. Then the third concept is identity resolution. So the process of matching records from different systems into one unified individual. Then unified individual, the single golden record of customer after all duplicates are resolved and calculated insights. So like it's a computed matrix derived from unified data, like through timeline, a lifetime value, churn score, etc. So this is the badge 3 search index types in Data 360. It's a quick look badge, conceptual, 3 minutes mental model that has a real impact. So all it tells about like how you will do keyword indexing and how you can use semantic indexing. That's similar what we discussed earlier. Then the badge 4 is all about unstructured data into Data 360. So this is exactly same thing like data library concepts which we discussed earlier, but how to ingest and manage unstructured data like files, PDF, Word documents, web contents, help documentation pages, knowledge articles, and other custom contexts like images. And once this data is indexing into Data 360, this context we can use within Agentforce for grounding purpose. And then the last one is connect Data 360 to Agentforce. This is actually hands-on capstone badge, and it is more into configuration level walkthrough. So how you can actually wire your data 360 into Agentforce agents. So what actually it lets you do is like it lets you enable the data 360 connectors in Agentforce setup. Like it allows you to select different type of data model objects within the Agentforce builders, and you can configure the retrieval rules and map Salesforce user identity to unified profiles. And then you can also do the testing within that. And then now we get into the section that most teams rush through and then regret skipping it when their agent misbehaves in the production, testing and monitoring. Let's go. So the first badge is related to Agentforce testing tools and strategies. So this badge sets up the why and how of agent testing, and it starts with an uncomfortable truth. The agents are not deterministic. So traditional software testing is built on one simple premise. Like you provide some input and it provides the specific output. You write the test, it passes or fails, and that's done. But AI agents breaks this premise. The same user message might produce a slightly different response on different runs. So maybe same question is asked by Tom, it will provide you a different output, and by Harry, it will provide a different output. And the agent might be handled an edge case unexpectedly because it was specifically to that user context. So that's the nature of a probabilistic system. That means the traditional unit testing is not enough. So we need to provide some new testing philosophy. So this section is all about that. So how you can define your test scenario, evaluation matrix, then how you can run automated tests, then how you can verify and validate your results, and then you can again refine your testing strategy. Then it can provide you like which kind of, whether it's a happy path, variants or edge cases, and guardrail tests, escalation test, or security related test. And you can use also produce a CSV file for those. Then the next badge is about Agentforce testing centers. So like previous badge was all about strategy. So this badge is actually hands-on. So how you can actually use testing center to develop your testing strategy. So just to give you a brief about what Agentforce Testing Center is, it's a it's a Salesforce purpose-built environment for storing agent test cases, which you can reuse. Then you can execute those tests in parallel mode with the hundreds of scenarios at once, and then evaluate the agent response based on the predefined matrix, and you can identify where exactly something is failing. So there is something new into it. Once you will start using, you will find out that there is something you need to provide test input, then expected topics, expected action, and expected output criteria. Then we have our third badge, which is Agentforce Analytics and Monitoring. So if testing helps you from shipping the broken agents, this monitoring actually keeps you from running broken agents. So once your agent is live, you need actually some sort of visibility. So this section is all about that. And one of the most valuable monitoring tool, conversation transcripts. So Salesforce logs every agent conversation, and we can then review specific session to understand exactly what the agent said. what topic and actions were triggered, and where it may have gone off script. So for debugging, a conversation transcript is the agent equivalent of debug log in Apex. So when something goes wrong, this is where we will find out why it went wrong. Okay, so the next section is deploy your agent with Slack. So in this specific module, we will create some agents and we will connect with Slack orgs. So this is the third section 6, deploy your agent to Slack. So we stepped out of now Salesforce org setup, and then we are just heading towards the Slack. This is the place where millions of enterprise employees actually spend their time. So 2026 Legend Trail puts Slack deployment on equal footage with traditional Salesforce deployment surfaces. And I will let you know why it matters. So first badge is quick start, where you will just create an employee agent in Agentforce. So this badge introduces a critically important distinctions: customer facing agents versus employee facing agents. So most of the trail so far has been about service agents that talks to the external customers, but Agentforce can also power internal agents that helps your employee do their jobs faster. So what employee agents can do actually? They can, for example, within Slack, they can ask questions like what deals are closing this quarter, summarize all new support cases, what is the status of that specific org renewal, show me the context of that specific org. So this is all related to the employee, how employee will engage with the Agentforce. The second badge is about connect your Agentforce org with Slack. So this is the technical setup badge. So if, like, you can say the previous badge was about what, and this badge is about how. A step by step, you will connect your Salesforce org with Slack. So just bear in mind, there are actually four major components which you need to consider before doing this badge. So there will be one Salesforce connected Slack app. So it's already a Salesforce managed connector. Then make sure then we have the third badge, which is called Agentforce configuration for Slack deployment. So this is actually from the last badge. Now you configure how actually agent behaves in Slack specifically and get it live. So what you need to do is, you need whatever you created an employee agent in this badge, actually you will deploy to the Slack environment. The next section 7 is about developing with Agentforce tools. So now this is the final technical section, and this one is squarely for the architects and engineers who want to operate Agentforce like a platform, not just configuration like a product. So the first badge is about creating an agent using Agentforce TDX. This badge actually changes how you build agents. Now, just what you build is the bridge between traditional Salesforce DevOps and the agentic AI world. So within Salesforce DX, this is where you will install some CLI tools, VS Code, and you will perform your actions directly from there. So basically, it will let you configure your agents similar like a metadata, which you can actually sync with your repositories and perform CI/CD on those. The second one is Agent API Quick Look. it will provide you information about how agent API can be used to AI agents. So this is a quick look, conceptual, but this is something you need to understand. The agent API is Salesforce REST API for interacting with Agentforce agents programmatically from outside the Salesforce platform. So if for example, you have an agent, now you want to interact with that agent from some third party tool. So that is how you will use this one. Then the next one is get started with models API. So this is something the model API is the most developer facing tool in this section. It gives you direct access to the LLMs that powers Agentforce without going through the agent interaction model. So just to give you a distinction between agent API and model API. So agent API is full agent experience like topics, action, grounding, all configured behavior. But model API is you directly interact with your LLM to access the custom feature, not tied to the agents. So the model API is for when you want to build something that uses AI, but it does not fit the topic action pattern. Think a Lightning Web component with an inline AI assistant, a batch job that enriches record using LLM outputs, or experimental AI feature you are prototyping. And the last one is Agentforce for Developer Trailblazer community. You can open this and you can join this community. There is huge things going on there. There are tutorials, there are use cases. So it provides so much information about that. And the last section is lead the way with AI. So we have reached the final badge, and it's deliberately short, not because it's unimportant, but because at this point you have done the work. This is the moment to look back at what you have built. So the full journey from champion to innovator to legend. So this module actually recaps the entire Agentblazer journey. As a champion, you understood what AI agents are and could articulate the business case for Agentforce. As an innovator, you could implement Agentforce for real business scenarios in service and sales. And as a legend, you have earned the right to say you can do all of this.
So that's it from a Trails perspective. So try to complete as many badges as possible and post in the community if you face any challenge. See you next time. Thank you.